Hold on 1 second. Here they come.
She's known as the Jumpstart Your Biz coach and has 25 years experience helping small business owners and entrepreneurs get more love in their life and money in their business. She's a 10-time best-selling author with 16 books, including Jumpstart Your New Business Now and Love Yourself Successful, the book this summit is geared around. Help me welcome Katrina Sawa, your host for the Love Yourself Successful Summit and gift giveaway. Take it away, Katrina.
I love you, Jane. Thanks for your excitement. Woohoo! We're here for another session from my amazing girlfriend, Shari Fitzpatrick. All of you know who she is, whether you know it or not, because she was the founder of Shari's Berries, when she's going to tell you the story why she has a different company now. And I don't want to waste any time because she is going to rock you and tell you how to lead with what you love. Take it away, Shari.
Hi, thank you, Katrina. I've always loved doing events with you. You're so gracious and helpful and supportive for everybody. You're in a natural, you're doing what you love. And that's kind of my theme, is do what you love. If I can do it with chocolate dipped strawberries, anybody out there can do it with their idea or their hobby or their talent. So it's exciting to be with you here today for a quick 25 minutes. And I trust you're going to find a lot of humor and inspiration and hope in my message that I'm going to share with you. I was definitely destined to sell strawberries for a living. I grew up in a small town in Southern Oregon, and that's where my love affair with strawberries began. My dad always had a big garden, which included a strawberry patch for me. And so I just fell in love with them. They've always been my favorite fruit. When I got out of college, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I mean, out of high school, it seems like all my girlfriends were going to college and they knew what they wanted to be. And I just wanted to have fun and enjoy my life. And so I went to college for a couple of years just to get away and get out of town. And after a couple of years, my older brother invited me to move to Los Angeles to be a mortgage broker for his LA firm. And I always wanted to be a California girl. I could not pack fast enough. And I moved to Los Angeles at age 20 and I became a mortgage broker. And I grew up really fast. I've always loved working with numbers and doing sales. And my sister-in-law, Emily, is an amazing cook and caterer. And she's the one that introduced me to the concept of dipping my beloved berries in chocolate. And so chocolate dipped strawberry gift baskets became my signature gift as a mortgage broker in Los Angeles. And it was really amazing because, it was like a hobby. And I can remember being up to like 2 a.m. making these gift baskets and just really having a good time and looking forward to passing them out the next day. And so these real estate agents, these hoity-toity chicks, they would go crazy over these chocolate dipped strawberries. It's not a major concept. It's pretty basic. You melt some chocolate, put some straw, wrap it up, put some ribbons and bows, and they just went crazy over the berries. And so it was a great marketing tool. They were happy because they were getting berries, and I was happy because I was getting their mortgage business. So after 4 years in the mortgage industry, I moved to Puerto Vallarta for 3 months with a friend, lived on the beach and sold timeshares, figuring out what I want to do next. I was a little homesick. So I ended up moving to Reno. I answered an ad and I became a stockbroker. I took my series 6 and 7, passed it on the first time. I took another crash course and ended up absolutely hating it. Though I loved the number part of it, there was so much negativity. It just was against my grain to have to cold call. That just was not, it's not like I could give them berries through, the phone. And in fact, I have a chocolate dipped strawberry here because I was thinking, I change and what taxes are all the time you have them. And I would rather be in person with you ladies today and all of you. And the first thing I do is I serve everybody my chocolate dipped strawberries. I want to make sure everybody likes me right away. And so I have one here and I thought, I wonder if I put it up to the right in here, if you could maybe smell it. Maybe there's a scratch screen option. You could like smell it. Yeah, Katrina's trying to bite it. But anyway, so today I serve berries to all the audience when I take the stage. But so I spent a year as a stockbroker. See, I thought at that time in my 20s that the definition of success was what type of job title you had. It sounded fancy and successful. And later in my career, I would learn the true meaning of success. And I'll share that in a minute. But one day I was teaching a financial class and I continued to serve my berries, and somebody came up to me and said, "You mean you can do these strawberries and this chocolate stuff and you're doing this money thing. And that was kind of like my aha moment. Thought, man, you think I could sell these and have fun and do my hobby? And so I went to my broker and I told him I was quitting my job, and he thought I was nuts. And he said, just take a week off. So he asked me what I was going to do. And I said, this strawberry thing. And I woke up Monday. He goes, just take a week off. I'll see you in a week. And I woke up and pretend like, I just hit the ground running. And so I had this boyfriend in high school called Clay Fitzpatrick, and I was madly in love. I would have married him that day, but God was going to start teaching me patience. And Clay had moved to Sacramento when I moved to Los Angeles. And so I missed being in California. And if Clay was here, he'd tell you guys I was stalking him. But I left Reno and left my job and came here to Sacramento and got a one-bedroom apartment, a $1,500 cash advance on a credit card, and took my passion and turned it into profits. I had no business experience or education, but I had a lot of passion. And I think when you add passion and hard work together, that is when dreams can come reality and they can come true. And so, I think the first year I gave away more strawberries than I sold. And I think if we can use our product or our idea as a way to market ourselves and market our services or our product, you get such a better perceived value for what you're giving away, and you're using your idea, your product to get it out there and kind of test the market a little bit. And so anyways, my business was in its fourth year. I first started just working out of my home for the first 2 years, and then I got my first store. And then when my business was in its fourth year, Clay and I were married, and I got my man, and we started a family right away. So, I had that whole juggle of being a businesswoman and being a mom, and that guilt, when you should be spending more time with your family when you're at work, and just that whole juggle. And I learned a valuable lesson, and that was to always, to have my priorities in the right order, to always have my faith first and my family next, because we have our whole life to work. We have one chance to be a great mom or dad or parent. I was always a guerrilla marketer. I never had a big budget to market. Like I said, I gave away more berries, went to every event I could find, used very low cost, unconventional ways to market myself, to take great care of your customers, put out a top quality product, surround yourself by great people, and great staff. My husband always reminded me that I was always as strong as my weakest link. So we worked hard and played hard. And I can remember coming home from vacation one time and thinking, I can't wait to get back to work. And I knew I was onto something. And Katrina has this theme for this summit of love yourself, and love yourself successful. And I think about that, and it's really powerful because I just kept thinking about love yourself successful, and how important it is to, put ourselves on our calendar, put ourselves on our shopping list. And when you love your work and what you're doing, you have the tenacity to keep on going during the difficult times. And there's definitely going to be difficult times. Valentine's Day, we just got through it. It was my 33rd Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day used to literally ruin my life. Just a nightmare, working 40-hour shifts and nursing a baby out in my car and pregnant with another one another year, just hard. But I just remember one time, working all night and having to go back out there, and I just imagined a little tiny drop of tenacity left in one of my little toes, and I held on to that little bead to get me through. So if you love your work, it doesn't seem like work, and you do have the tenacity to keep going during the difficult times. And when I think about love yourself successful, I think about, there's scripture all through the Bible, and Mark and in Exodus, about God demands us to love ourselves. He says, love your neighbor as yourself. So we can't love our neighbor if we don't love ourselves. So some people look at that as prideful or narcissistic, and it's not. You've got to love yourself, and you've got to enjoy yourself. I'm a speaker today, and I travel a lot, and I always give myself an extra day to go have some fun. And I take myself on vacations, and I take myself out on dates. And you've got to remember, they say to smell those roses, but you've got to do it, and then there's difficult times and how to get through those. And when my business was in its 9th year, I was overwhelmed. I had two little boys, a third one on the way, 2 stores, a factory, and same store sales were booming 35% a year. And I was so excited when I got approached by a young, tech-minded corporate lawyer that promised me the deal of a lifetime. And I was so happy to get a partner, to share some of this growth. There was this brand new thing called the internet, and I wanted to take advantage of it. I was limited to delivering locally in the greater Sacramento area, and I wanted to be able to ship my berries nationwide, and that's exactly what we did. We raised millions of dollars. The company boomed online, and the board of directors decided, to bring in a CEO who didn't like that I didn't have a lot of debt. And so he raised a lot of, debt. And then in the early 2000s was that .gone boom bubble burst. And we had all of this debt and our stock plummeted. And it was really, really, really hard. I lost total control. I was no longer having fun in the inventing room. I was suffering and bored sick in the boardroom. And it was horrible. It was the most difficult time of my life. And when my business was in its 22nd year, 10 years after getting involved with this group, I fell below that 51% line. See, I used to brag that I never took a business class ever, but now my story is much more interesting because I fell below that 51% line and I lost the company. It was sold off for pennies on the dollar to San Diego-based Pro Flowers, and it was gone. And I was broken. I was broken. And I know in the last couple of years during these crazy pandemic times and the COVID, so many people need hope because they're just suffering. They've lost their job. They hate their job. And I have found this love of encouraging others that now is the time to take your idea out for a spin. You have a talent or a secret recipe, or you do something and people have been saying all your life, you need to sell that or do that. And now's the time. After the company was lost, my book, where is my book? Here it is. It's called Buried in Chocolate, and I got a book deal. And it was released by Pelican Publishing in hardcover, and it was in every Barnes and Noble nationwide overnight. And it's a dozen chapters, and each one's a different lesson that I learned while I took my passion and turned it into a business. And today, back in the inventing room, and the book is actually trademarked, the first book in the world with calories. You can send chocolate covered inspiration to somebody because it's dipped in chocolate, and you break off the chocolate and you can eat the chocolate while you read the story. So it's really fun. But during my roller coaster business story and, going through that, what I learned was that our character is built, and we learn the most during the difficult times in our life, not when we don't have a care in the world. And not all storms, I read this on Facebook recently, so I can't take credit for it, but someone had noted that not all storms come to disrupt our life. Some come to clear our paths. And, during this time, I learned that dipping strawberries in chocolate was not who I was. It was just what I did. And that disappointments in life, this is not heaven, this is earth. It's full of hardship and loss and brokenness. And, and disappointments are unavoidable, but discouragement is a choice. And it turned out that God was much more interested in my character than my comfort. And during this time, I was so heartbroken. I thought, how could there ever be any beauty that would come from this brokenness and this ashes that I feel like I'm in? Had 3 little boys. I didn't know that was all I had done. I didn't know how I was going to support my kids, if I was going to lose everything, what I was going to do. It was horrible. And during this time, I read this article that this woman wrote about successful entrepreneurs in our country. She wanted to see if there was any common denominators amongst them that weren't obvious. And what her research found, was that the majority of all successful entrepreneurs have their biggest success right after their biggest failure. And that was proof to me that entrepreneurs are not quitters. It's just not in our blood. And so I'm a Christian, and I'm grateful for my faith. And I learned the importance of forgiveness and letting go. We have to forgive those in our life that have hurt us to move forward. And there's this little riddle that unforgiveness does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than the object on which it is poured. You have to let it go in order to heal and to move on. So in my book is a big chapter on mistakes. mistakes are not always bad. We can learn a lot from our mistakes, and they can be very valuable. Another chapter is on just start. Just try it. Just take your idea out for a spin. Just try it. Wayne Gretzky has a famous quote that, you're going to miss 100% of the shots you never take. So you have nothing ever to lose. And also, our mess is our message. Today, I'm an accredited member of the National Speaking Association. I just want to have fun and be a berry dipper. Now, God's given me this platform to encourage and inspire other entrepreneurs like me to never give up and just take one day at a time and just try. And, my book inspires me back. I get a lot of compliments from people that it was, really helpful for them and inspired them to take their passion and turn it into profits like I did. But one night I got a message from a young gal back in North Carolina, and she started telling me in a roundabout way that I saved her life. And I'm like, what is this? And she told me that somebody gave her a copy of my book, somebody that wanted to motivate her and encourage her to market her mind instead of her body. Neat told me that as a young girl, she loved baking, watching her aunt bake. And so she said my book was her business school and helped her to escape human trafficking. And she opened up her own cupcake bakery. And today, Neat is winning awards. She helps other girls escape human trafficking, gives them a copy of my book, and helps them open their own cupcake bakery. So I pulled up her picture and I look in her big brown eyes, and it's just like, there it is. There's that beauty from my brokenness. If my dumb little strawberry story can save a girl's life, then it has a purpose, and God gave us all a purpose. And when we can find that purpose, that is when things get really, really exciting. So, when I speak, I mentioned I give everybody berries, and a few years ago, people started coming up to me and saying, how do we get strawberries from you? And, I'd let Shari's berries go like an old boyfriend, just let it go. And so I started doing some research, and I found that the berries from Shari's berries are not anything like berries from Shari. And they've lost that whole TLC. There's no Shari's berries anymore. And so I never agreed to a non-compete. So I launched Buried in Chocolate, and that's my new business where you can get the original recipe with the great quality and the real thick chocolate and great customer service is at Buried in Chocolate once again. And so I get to have fun and be an innovative. We have our new chocolate dip grapes on there, and you can tell somebody how grateful you are for those. We ship them, nationwide. So just to have perseverance, and to have hope, we got to let go. I talked about forgiveness, but it's like driving a car. If we're constantly looking
Ah. Okay, who froze? Shari froze?
Yes, okay.
All right, let's, I'm sure she'll come back here in a second. She's up in the mountains, you guys. She lives up in Placerville, and I'm sure she'll be back. Maybe she can go and come back in. We're close to time. Okay, she's probably gonna do that. Awesome. Isn't she amazing? Oh my God. I know. Can you believe she actually started her business again, you guys? Like after being it ripped away, most people would just get discouraged and give up and do something different. But nope, she started again. So her berries are better than ever, you guys. So I've had them. She'll probably tell you this. She has a bed and breakfast now up in our area. It's super cool. You can come there and eat berries, and let's just see if she can come back in. Oh, she's back. She's still here. Shari, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good.
It just stopped. Okay, so
I was just telling
I'm
you.
sure you kept the ball rolling.
I was telling your backstory and your B&B and all that. So
Oh, good, good, good. Yes, we're going to be giving away a $125 gift card to all of you and inviting you to come on a call with me next week if you want to pick my brain a little bit, like picking strawberries and pick my brain. But so I'm just seem to be a magnet for innovators, entrepreneurs, and dreamers like me. And, Bethany Hamilton from Soul Surfer, she has a quote that I love, and she says, I don't need easy, I just need possible. So, passion and hard work, anything is possible. Surround yourself with wisdom like you're doing here today, and filling your soul and your mind, and building yourself up and loving yourself enough to take the time to invest in yourself. And one of my favorite scriptures is from Proverbs about surrounding yourself with wisdom. And it says, happy is the person who finds wisdom, for the profits of wisdom is better than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Today, my definition of success is having a lot of the things that you can't see, like hope and peace and love and joy. Those are the things that are eternal and are most important. And I um, today I am working on some new passion projects. We raised our boys up here in the Fairplay wine region. It's only an hour above Sacramento, but you feel like you're just a world away. And it's called bedandberries.com. I don't make a good empty nester. Our three sons are off following their dreams, and we have this amazing estate that God has blessed us with, and 10 private acres surrounded by about 70 wineries and vineyards. We've been here almost 20 years, and I'm your concierge. When you show up, we've got berries for you and my wine. We have our own wine label. The wine's dipped in chocolate too. You can wake up with a cavity and a hangover at the same time. It's wonderful. All estate and double gold winning. So I'm going to ask all of you to email me. You can go through the summit email. Email me, and you're going to be sent a $125 gift card. $25 to be spent buying anything you'd like on my chocolate website from The Real Shari, and that's at buriedinchocolate.com, and that will be in the chat notes here. If you forget that, you can just go to therealshari.com, and you just always want to make sure you're with the real girl. And then you're going to receive a $100 gift code, part of the card, for $100 off a stay, any stay at my bed and breakfast. So we'd love you to come up. We have 3 rooms, robes and slippers, a whole outdoor kitchen and fire pit and swimming pool and fountains. And it's a lovely walking trail. We're right up against the Casumas River. So there's a lot of videos at bedandberries.com, and you can feel really good about your stay, because when you stay here, it supports my ministry. I'm helping children in Puerto Vallarta, back in my lovely Puerto Vallarta, that started my new love affair, my new passion project. There's kids in Puerto Vallarta that live at the dump, and they live at the dump because they're not educated. So we're helping these kids to get educated to break that chain of poverty. And my ministry is called Boys and Berries, and that's found at boysandberries.org. My main website is also in the chat, and that's just my name, sharifitzpatrick.com. And my chocolate and my ministry and my B&B and everything is under there. I'd love to be a speaker at your next event. I travel internationally, and would love to do that. So it's really been an honor to be here, for a Berry Dipper, to be with you today. And just always remember what's most important, and that is you're having your priorities in the right order, and having your faith and your family first makes for a fruitful life. And then just remember that making a living is much more important, and it's not as important as making a life. Making life is more important than making a living. And it's an honor for Berry Dipper to be with all of you today. And I look forward to talking to you on a call next week. Send me your email and I will send you your card. Thank you, Tina, for having me here. And I hope we get to work person soon. So I can bring you some of these, the real ones.
I know. I love your stuff. Oh my God. And I can't believe you're here like right after Valentine's Day. Like I'd be dead.
Yeah, well, this is my last commitment, and then I'm done for 4 days. I'm gonna relax a little bit. Though we had B&B guests all weekend,
Oh,
and we'll have B&B guests checking in this Friday. We're the whole in his book last weekend and this weekend.
So fun. Fair Play is the best for wine tasting. My
It's
God.
amazing. It's
I
so
know.
good.
I'll go. Anybody that comes, please call me.
Yes. Come
Any
up.
excuse to wine taste. I'm all for
Yes.
it. Thank you for
Okay.
being here, Shari, and sharing your story. You guys just got a
Yes.
snippet of it, and definitely check out her video and for more information and connect with her all on social. She's fun to watch, and she's
Yeah, all my
very
social media
personable.
links are there. Keep in touch, ladies.
Thank you, Shari.
Thank you. Have a great event the rest of the day.
You bet. And so our next speaker, we have one speaker, so we'll all be in the same room. We have Don Cermak, who is talking on total change of topics, you guys. 15 down and dirty tips for business owners to keep more of the money that you're making. And oh my God, she has a lot of information, tax saving tips, and a whole bunch of other things. You don't want to miss it. And we'll see you in the next room. The link is in the chat.
Thank you for joining us for another excellent talk. Click on the link in the chat to get all your gifts from all the speakers that are here today on topics surrounding love, money, and how to create your amazing life. Go to lysgifts.com.